What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Gaming News Weekly. We got a slew of stories this week, some really fun ones, so let's get started. So, some little interesting stories that started off this week. Take-Two Interactive, known for Rockstar games, right? GTA and that kind of stuff. They filed a trademark dispute against Remedy because they said the R logo from Remedy is too close to Rockstar. Who knew you could try to trademark a freaking letter? What a joke. Take-Two is ridiculous. I don't see any way they're going to win this. You can look at the two together. I'll put them up right now. Then clearly they're not the same. It's not hard to differentiate. It's just an R. What a dumb take that is. But, try and protect a letter. After that, we also got Square Enix had basically like an earnings call where they were talking to investors and stuff. And they talked about the future of their gaming industry, right? And they said that they're looking to kind of slim down their lineup a little bit, not make quite so many different projects, but to increase the quality of the ones that they make. I think that sounds good. What I'm hoping, though, is that doesn't mean the neglecting of those AA type titles, because they've been making some pretty good ones, right? I mean, and some interesting takes on stuff. We had the Star Ocean, not the second story that we've all talked about, but the one from the end of 2022, Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Then they also have the Valkyrie Profile. They had, I guess they call it Valkyrie Elysium, right? We have Diofield Chronicle. Loads of these kind of middle games, and I want them to still do those. It'd be cool if they did those and had maybe higher quality to them, but I don't want them to leave that and only do Final Fantasy, right? We want them to still produce these different kinds of games, because that's what makes them so interesting, is that they are capable of making really interesting and different JRPG style games, and we love that about them. Foam Stars is about to come out, and frankly, I hope that hits for them, because it's different and unique, and I like Square Enix. They've made a lot of my favorite games over the years, and I'm really hoping that this is a good move for them, and that they take the time to really dive into the games that they are passionate about, and put the effort in behind them. So hopefully this is a good thing for them, as they focus on quality, that they improve the games they're producing. But I just hope that it doesn't, we don't lose that middle stuff. Now there's enough here. I'm going to jump right into some bigger stuff, because we got lots to cover today. So the first thing that we got to talk about, and it's a little bit annoying, right? But we have to talk about it, is the Ubisoft executive who said that players will need to get comfortable with not owning games for the subscription model to increase. Now, the first thing is you got to know, if you go online, people are taking it out of context all the time and saying that he says you need to just get comfortable not owning your games. And it's true that he said that, but he's talking in context of for the subscription model to evolve and grow. And he's not wrong, right? For the subscription ideas, things like Game Pass and PlayStation, Plus Extra and all those kind of services to really expand into what they want them to be, it would require that us as players don't care as much about owning games, and we like the service instead, similar to things like Netflix and stuff. Now, he may still believe that that's what we need, is for people like us to not want to own the games. I don't know that that's true, but he is the head of the subscription part of Ubisoft, so of course that's what he's pushing for. I don't know that he believes that or not, but either way, I don't think that that's anywhere going to happen. I don't know that that is actually what most companies want. I know that there's a cynical view that's probably partially right, that all these companies just want us to take the games and not own them and pay more for them and pay on only do digital. But think about what happens when developers get a game that really hits. They don't just leave it on digital, they come out with a collector's edition, because people will pay for that. So I know that everyone has been saying in our industry for a while that we're going to go all digital, and it's coming, and it's going to be the next PlayStation, the next Xbox will be digital only. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think that we are constantly moving towards a more digital future, but there is a whole realm of people who are collectors, who are physical collectors, who want that kind of stuff. And they're a big market for these gaming industries. Yes, they are not the majority anymore. It's 50-50 or so, depending on the developer and depending on the platform. But physical stuff still sells and sells at huge markups for them. So I don't think that it's going to go away. I think it will become more niche. I think it will become more collector specific and not just everywhere in every store. But it's still going to be around. That's what I believe. I could be wrong and whatever. But in this specific story, I think that the subscription model is kind of stagnant, right? We've heard that. But that's going to, as big games come and they are easier to obtain on there, it will eventually happen more. But it is clearly not now. Palworld, which we're going to talk about more later, is a clear example. It's on Game Pass and yet it's selling gangbusters, right? So subscriptions don't automatically overwhelm the majority. So it's something we'll keep an eye on, but I think that there is actually less to this story than what most people are giving it. So just food for thought. As we talk sales of games, we got to talk about 2023 because Hogwarts Legacy outsold CoD and Madden and any Rockstar game, which is the first time it's happened in the last 15 years. First off, that's really sad. The fact that CoD or a Rockstar game has been the top seller every single year for the last 15 years is horrible, in my opinion. There are so many good games that could have earned that, but whatever. It is what it is. But Hogwarts Legacy breaks that streak and outsold all of them. That's insane. It's like 22 million copies. We talked about that on this channel already, but that's a lot of copies. And to outsell both those big games, kind of a testament to the changing of our industry. I think that's a good thing. I think getting some more things in the mix, getting more big players is a good thing. It shakes things up, and that's what we want. So that's pretty cool. I wonder what that will mean for what COD will look like now that Microsoft owns them and Bobby Kotick is gone. What changes will happen? We'll have to wait and see. That's going to be a few years down the pike before we actually see evidence of that, I think. But Hogwarts, we already have heard that they are in the throes of making a sequel or at least another game. So we'll have to see what comes from that. Pretty cool for them, and I'll bet that meant a lot to the team over there at WB Games. So very awesome. All right, next up is Palworld. We've talked about that. I've streamed it a couple times on this channel. We've talked about this game in lists and stuff here, but it's ridiculous. You haven't seen a game do things like this in a long time. Let's just talk about the history, okay? So Palworld announces only a few weeks ago that's coming to early access the 19th or the 18th or whatever it was, and it's going to be on Game Pass and all of this, okay? Then it comes out and it's doing amazing. Sells 1 million copies in about 8 hours. 2 million, 24 hours. 3 million, 40 hours. It hits into the top 5 concurrent players on Steam. Top 4, top 3. Now it is the highest ever concurrent players at over a million. It's like 1.15 million concurrent players. That might still grow, but it is the highest all-time peak players on Steam ever. It's sold, I think, now 4 million in 3 days. It is lightning in a bottle, and it's just going to keep going. This game is just going crazy. They're working quick to fix servers and whatever else comes up, but these guys are on it. Now, there's all kinds of controversy about this game. There's going to be controversy about a lot of games. I don't know enough to speak to that stuff. Okay, they talk about AI and stealing art and stuff. I don't know, right? Did they or not? Is it just AI generated, and because those pictures are on the internet, that's where it came from? Is it because you're talking about creatures? Pokemon's made like 1,000 of them, so the fact that they're going to look very similar just happens? I don't know, right? If you know more about that, feel free to explain it in the comments. I don't know enough to speak very educated on that topic, so I'm going to leave that. But just as a game, as it sells, it's been insane. I've spent a few times, done a couple of live streams of it, and it's just fun, right? It's a survival game, but it has Pokemon elements in it, and it's just a good time. It's not the best game ever. There's still problems with it. There's still little things that are annoying. It's clearly the boss. If you guys go watch the second stream there, I finish out the stream by fighting this boss, and it clearly is made for more than one person, right? Because it took forever. But it's doable. So there's something. The growing of your pals or whatever. It's all pretty fun, and it's got survival stuff. So it's more like Ark survival than it is like Pokemon. Whatever, you could have your own view, but it's not very expensive. You can get into it for $30 or Game Pass, and I mean it's a good time. So people can judge one way or the other, whatever you want, but I think it's a pretty good time. It's pretty fun. It won't last for forever for me, but it's pretty fun. All right, on to some games that we got going on. So we got a couple of announcements this week, a couple of delays. We got some new trailers, all kinds of stuff. So first up is a new announcement, AI Limit. It's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi RPG that's coming to PS5 and PC. This is from that China Hero project. It's a third-person kind of action RPG-looking game. Looks cool. We'll have to see how it actually plays. Yeah, we don't know much about it. It kind of just got announced, but it's one to watch if it looks interesting to you. Foam Stars has announced that it is releasing February 6th because we didn't have enough to play in February, and it's going to be a PS Plus monthly title. So if you have PS Plus Essential, you don't have to have either the higher tiers. Essential, you will get it as a monthly game February 6th. I think that's a good move. We've seen that work for a few games already, and having that initial kind of bump in player base is pretty smart, I think. So Foam Stars, we've actually heard amazing things about. When it first got announced, everyone just said, it's a Splatoon copycat, and it does look like there's some of that in it, but all of the reviews that I've seen are pretty positive. So keep an eye out on that one if that interests you at all. Could be something pretty cool. Last of Us Part 2 got the remaster. We kind of mentioned that before. It has been rated now. It's got that 91 on Metacritic. This is a critical darling. People love The Last of Us. So if that's your cup of tea, then $10 just to upgrade it, or $70 for a brand new copy. But that is out. We got a delay. Stalker 2. This one has a whole history behind it. I'm not going to get into all that here, but it's been pretty nuts for this team. But they are keeping at it, and they have said they're doing their final delay into September. September 5th is the new release date for Stalker 2. So if you're looking forward to that, then you got a little ways to wait. But I think it's fair to give this team the time they need because they've been through quite a bit. Helldivers has gone gold. That's that kind of crazy third-person shooter action game where it's like Starship Troopers, where you're killing loads of bugs and stuff. But it actually kind of looks fun. I think it could be a good time. We'll see. But yeah, it's gone gold. So that game is ready to go, which is awesome. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is on its last marketing leg before the run-up to release on February 29th. So we got a new trailer out. I am very purposely not watching it. So I'm sorry I'm not going to cover it here. If you want to watch it, go for it. I hope you enjoy. But I am trying to black out on all media stuff and wait to play the game. I already know I'm going to play it. I don't need to know more. I don't need to see more. I know I'm playing it. I know I'm going to do it. So it is what it is. And then let's get into the Xbox Developer Direct. So that Direct was pretty stinking cool. I like the direction of these Xbox developer things they're doing. This is the second one they've done. I like that they do interviews on the teams and that the teams talk about their games and that they get a section of time. It's not always rocket fire. Some people won't like that, and that's totally fair. I enjoy it, though. I like that the team gets to talk about their game and explain things that they're doing and why they're doing it. I like that stuff. So at the Direct, we saw Avowed, we saw Indiana Jones, we saw Ara, History Untold, and then we got a surprise of Visions of Mana. Now, none of them had release dates, which, well, I guess it's not true. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2 got a release date, and that's May 21st, 2024. The rest of them are just kind of time frames. Indiana Jones says this year. I would bet that gets delayed out of the year, but we'll see. Ara, History Untold is fall of 2024. Avowed is fall of 2024. And then Visions of Mana, which was a surprise to show up there, is summer of 2024. For me, unfortunately, I didn't really get into Hellblade 1, and looking at Hellblade 2, it just doesn't look like a game that I personally care for. So that's probably not for me. I don't tend to do a lot of the Civilization type games. I played them as a kid. I don't really do them anymore. It's not that they're bad. They're just not really my cup of tea. So Ara History Untold is probably not for me. Indiana Jones is something I grew up with, and I love the Indiana Jones movies. But this is Machine Games, who did the Wolfenstein titles, and so it's to follow kind of their expertise. It's first person. And that just doesn't do it for me. I don't think I want to play a first-person Indiana Jones. That said, I probably will give it a shot, depending on what's out and around the time that it comes out, because it'll be on Game Pass, and so I can just try it and see. But I don't know that that's going to cut the mustard for me. Then, Avowed and Visions of Mana. Both do look like my cup of tea. Now, Avowed is also first-person, which is a bummer, but I do played Skyrim and loved Skyrim, and I did that back and forth between third and first person depending on what I was doing. So I think I could probably get used to it. I might not, and it might not end up clicking for me. But I'm a big fan of Obsidian. I've enjoyed a lot of their games, and I love their writing style. So Avowed is definitely going to get a shot from me. I'm pretty excited about that one, and I really hope it's good. Visions of Mana is, of course, just your JRPG goodness. It's very wholesome, very colorful, but action combat looks good. It looks like they've kind of upgraded monsters and stuff. And I loved Secret of Mana when I was a kid. I have a review of Trials of Mana, which I'll link below if you're interested. That was okay. It was good, but not amazing. And I'm hoping that this kind of ups that ante a bit, right? Like Star Ocean did. The Divine Force I thought was way better than like most of the Star Oceans they've done for a long time. So they're pushing things the right direction. I'm hoping this is good. I'm looking forward to it. And that was the Direct. I mean, pretty small, right? I was just talking 5 games. 4 that were already announced, and the 5th one that we got was a surprise here. But of course, all games were announced ahead of time. They're a little different pace, right, than a Nintendo Direct or a PlayStation Showcase or whatever. But I thought it was good. So I think Xbox is headed in the right direction. Good thing to see. All right, next we're coming into the free gaming corner, which of course, to mention, I know it's not completely free. If you're in Game Pass or you got, PlayStation Plus or whatever, you're paying into those. So, sort of free, but it's just easier to say free gaming corner. If you want me to say sorta or kinda or whatever, we could do that. We could do like kind of funny games and then just kind of free gaming. I don't know, whatever. But either way, you guys get what I mean. In Game Pass, of course, you had F123, Turnip Boy, which are both kind of, I don't know, maybe that's your thing. And then Palworld is the big one, of course. Yeah, Epic has Infinifactory right now. You can get Love right now, and then Infinifactory is coming up on Thursday. So they're both kind of interesting games, right? Infinifactory is basically releasing on that Thursday, so it's a brand new game, but it's a puzzle-like game. So, again, I always say claim them. It's free on Epic. These are actually free. All you have to have is an account. You don't have to spend any money. So, still worth claiming them, even if you're not really going to play it. Nothing on Amazon that I see. Something might change between now and the time the video goes up, and I'll just include that in the next video. But as of now, as the time of recording, nothing on Amazon games. So, a little lighter this month, but that's because we're coming towards the end of the month. Probably by next week, we'll have the announcement for the stuff in the beginning of February, and we'll cover that then. Okay? All right. Next up is the Indie Spotlight. And so I want you to check out this one. This is called Crow Sworn. Crow Sworn obviously takes a lot of inspiration from Hollow Knight. It has a very similar aesthetic, but it looks rad. Fast-paced and frenetic and super fun. I'm pretty excited for that. I enjoy a well-done Metroidvania like this, but I like to be fast. So a lot of times they slow them down, and I don't like that. It's not going to do it for me. But this looks fun, and I'm pretty stoked for that. Don't really have a release date, but just something to put on the radar. All right, and then this would typically be where I would do kind of the best story of the week or whatever. But unfortunately, I'm having trouble finding some really, heartfelt or good inspirational type stories. So I need your help. Help me track these down. You see something in the news or see something from a developer or Twitter or whatever, send it my way. I want to cover these kind of things, but it's hard to find sometimes because they're not made out in the open. They're kind of in little secret pockets. And so unless I happen to come across them or they have to do with people that I follow or whatever, then I miss them. So let me know if you find these kind of stories. I'm looking for heartfelt, inspirational, or just like cool stories about people, about the industry and gaming. And I want to find those and share them. So let me know. And so for now, go back and watch. I'm going to make a short, I think, this week so you guys can see it because a lot of people missed it. But there's a really cool one that I did in the very first Gaming News Weekly a few weeks ago about Baldur's Gate and something they did with a fan. And it was super cool. So check that out, and I'll put a short up hopefully soon. All right? And that's it for me this week. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. That helps out a ton. Also, if you're new, subscribe. We got news every single week for the gaming industry and usually a review or a list or something coming out on Thursdays. This coming Thursday should be the RPGs of February, so be on the lookout for that. We've had some live streams lately with Palworld, and I look to keep kind of that stuff going. Not necessarily Palworld, but some live streams of different things. If that is of interest to you, make sure you let me know in the comments so I know to keep that going. I hope you guys have a good one. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, good hunting.